The 1980s were totally rad. They had the best music with Prince, Depeche Mode, and Queen, the best movies with The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and The Princess Bride, and even the best TV shows with Cheers, Family Ties, and The Golden Girls. Unfortunately, I wasn't born in the 1980s. I was born 4 months too late, in the late summer of 1979. Although 1979 can't reach the epic heights of the 80s, there were several important events that had a long-lasting impact on our society and world in a way that would keep us both safe and entertained for decades to come. Today I'd like to talk to you about 3 events that shook 1979: the launching of ESPN, the nuclear accident at 3 Mile Island, and the signing of the SALT II Treaty. If you have ever spent a Sunday night with a Coke in one hand and a slice of pizza in the other as you watch the Cardinals hopefully stomp on their opponents, you should probably thank the sports entertainment giant ESPN. According to the 2011 book, Those Guys Have All the Fun, written by James Miller and Tom Shales, ESPN was conceived of by Bill Rasmussen after he was fired from the New England Whalers of the World Hockey Association. He later brought in additional partners, including his son. Bill established a headquarters for ESPN in Bristol, Connecticut, with a lot of help from Getty Oil, and he later had negotiated a $1.28 million advertising agreement with Anheuser-Busch, the largest advertising contract of the time. Also, according to Miller and Shales, on September 1st, 1979, ESPN broadcast its first sports program, SportsCenter, with anchors Lee Leonard and George Grand. The first words spoken were from Leonard, who informed viewers, "If you love sports, if you really love sports, you'll think you've died and gone to sports heaven." Now that we've covered an event that is important to sports fans everywhere, let's turn to an event that shook our entire nation. On March 28, 1979, the U.S. suffered what is still the most significant nuclear power plant accident in our history, when there was a partial nuclear meltdown in Reactor 2 of the 3 Mile Island Nuclear Generating Station. There were a series of mechanical issues, including that a relief valve was stuck open, which allowed nuclear coolant to escape. This was later compounded by human error, as an operator mistakenly overrode the emergency cooling system. Due to this partial meltdown, radioactive gases and iodine were released into the environment. According to the World Nuclear Association, accessed in 2016, cleaning up this accident was a significant undertaking, as it took until 1993 and cost a reported $973 million. While this event did not cause the end of the nuclear power industry in the U.S., it was a significant turning point, as the push for nuclear power started to decline, according to the International Atomic Energy Agency, accessed in 2016. From this national tragedy, we move to a final positive event, one that potentially saved thousands of lives across the globe. On June 18, 1979, the United States and Russia signed the Strategic Arms Limitations Talk, or SALT II, capping off a series of discussions between negotiators from both countries, which had been going on for 7 years. These discussions were aimed at limiting the manufacture of strategic nuclear weapons. The major points of the treaty was to reduce the number of all-delivery vehicles to 2,250. The U.S. was mostly interested in stopping the Soviets from arming their third-generation intercontinental ballistic missiles. Both countries additionally had to agree to limit their new missile development. The U.S. was able to maintain our Trident missiles and our cruise missiles, which we saw as slower and only defensive weapons. And the Soviet Union could keep 308 of their heavy intercontinental ballistic missiles, according to a 2006 book, The Cold War, A New History by John Gaddis. Later that year, the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, so the treaty was never actually ratified by Congress, although the terms of the agreement were honored by both countries up until the treaty expired. While 1979 was not the best in U.S. history, with the tragedy of 3 Mile Island, there was definitely some positivity from the SALT II Treaty, even though it was never ratified, and the love that sports aficionados would soon be getting from ESPN. Best of all, 1979 signaled the end of the 70s and the beginning of the awesome 80s.